Hello, my name is Michael Samara. I'm with VersaSec, and this is the second video of our series. And we are going to discuss how to deploy credentials to over 1,000 users without having a help desk meltdown. So, if your boss says deploy authenticators, and now you're sitting there thinking, what do we order? How many? Who gets what? What happens when someone loses one? Or if you're an IT security manager staring down a credential deployment for hundreds or thousands of users, and your biggest fear isn't the technology, it's the logistics. This video is good for you. By the end of this video, you'll have an overview of what's needed, what to order, what it costs, who gets what, and in what sequence. I'm going to screen share a Google Sheet with you that is a planner that covers user segmentation, hardware quantities, rollout timeline, and even the emails you send to your users. And you can download it for free. The link is in the description. So if you manage credentials at enterprise scale, subscribe. We do these videos and publish frameworks like this every couple of weeks. So let me walk you through it. Okay, this is the overview and it's also the output. When you're done filling in the other tabs, this is the one-page plan you can screenshot and share for review internally with your team. It's going to auto-populate as you work through the other tabs. Right now you can see the example data. There's 10 user groups, there's hardware breakdown, cost total, and all of this is going to update when you put in your numbers in the other tabs. So let's fill it in, starting with the most important tab, user segmentation. So this is where the admin decides which user groups need which credential and enrollment model. The following is an example, but there are of course other possibilities based on budget and what else needs to be prioritized. So a factory floor worker who needs physical access and logical access on one card is going to be a completely different problem than a remote developer who needs a USB key shipped to their home. So let's look at some of these rows, like your executive team, your remote developers, office staff. Those are some examples we've put in here. So executives are high priority, possibly. Maybe they're using hardware authenticators. They get white glove treatment for enrollment and are high value targets with maybe less patience than others. If we talk about factory workers, they may have a dual interface smart card that has PKI certificates, but also physical door access on one card. It may be done through batch issuance. They are not self-enrolling. We're doing IT admins, so they might get a hybrid authenticator, so a USB token or a smart card that has both capabilities, so both PKI and FIDO. They are going to have some of the highest privileged accounts and need a backup credential if it's lost or damaged. Shared workstations is interesting, and this is one that people forget. It's usually an issue of accountability and shared credentials or shared passwords on shared machines. That's your biggest exposure. Smart cards can remove reliance on shared credentials depending on the setup. So let's look at the enrollment method column. To avoid operational overload, you must match the issuance style to the specific needs of each user segment. So white glove, like we discussed, best for executives or high security roles where IT must ensure 100% no-fail setup. Self-enrollment is good for the computer literate staff, maybe customer support. They can follow a portal and prompts independently. Batch issuance is great for large groups at a single site, so central deployment. Factory floors might be an example, high volume setup in one session. And ship and enroll is the standard for remote or distributed employees who need to receive their hardware in the mail and activate it from home. So we have seen a government contractor, a supplier, who failed to utilize the enrollment worksheet, and it resulted in a poor segmentation and a lack of structure to their enrollment plan. Without those controls, the manual burden of issuing and revoking tokens created significant operational overload for their small IT team as that company tried to scale. All right, so next tab over, if we look at hardware planning, this tab turns segmentation into quantities, replacement stock, budget, and vendor planning. The user counts pull automatically from your segmentation. The sheet adds a 15% buffer, a sample starting point. That's your lost keys, damaged keys, and initial replacement stock. That 15% is not just made up or arbitrary. It is a On a rollout of 1,000 credentials, you will lose some. Users will forget them at home. Someone will put them through the washing machine. Plan for it. You fill in the yellow cells. The unit costs come from your vendor quotes, and everything else calculates. So down there is your vendor comparison. So deliberately vendor neutral, vendor A, B, C. What matters is unit price, bulk discounts, form factors, and lead time. Lead time is one that bites you. Some vendors quote 2 weeks, some quote 8. If you're ordering over 1,000 credentials, ask about lead times before you commit to a rollout date. If you're finding this useful, please feel free. The link to download is in the description. Again, it's a Google Sheet. Make a copy and it's all yours. So let's keep going over to tab 4 and discuss rollout time. So this is based on a 12-week timeline. It's a sample rollout model, not a standard timeline for every customer. They do change, obviously. So let's walk through some of these phases of the first couple of weeks. Weeks 1 and 2 is preparation. So finish the segmentation, finalize credential types, order hardware, configure your credential management system. The next few weeks, 3 through 5, may run a pilot, 50 users from a few different departments. And here are some sample success metrics that you can look at. So an enrollment under 5 minutes per user, help desk tickets are under 5%, and user satisfaction above 80% when asked. We review and reassess and adjust before scaling. And then we start looking at weeks 5 through 8. So wave 1, department by department, 200 to 300 users per wave. And we do that over those 3 weeks. Weeks 8 through 10, wave 2, the remaining users, those several hundred users per wave. And then as you get into week 10 and 12, you want to be in a steady state. So you've got processes in place, but this is where we start to see some failures actually. So this is where most planners stop and they fail. So steady state means processes for new hire onboarding, offboarding, lost key replacement, and PIN management. So continual reassessment and reevaluation is what really matters here. And also let me tell you where PIN management really matters. There's a quote from Gregory Bureau at Thales, and he states that if the user forgets his PIN, the only solution with FIDO2 is to fully reset the product. It will lose all of its credentials, all of them gone. That is the default behavior on many implementations. Your credential management system needs to support PIN unblock without device reset. If it doesn't, every forgotten PIN becomes a full re-enrollment, and at scale, that's a help desk meltdown. All right, let's go to the last tab, and that is where we build some communication templates for you. So this is the one that saves you the most time. Here's some pre-written communication that you can use. So your emails for these different events. An announcement email goes out 2 weeks before the rollout. Enrollment instructions, step-by-step with plain language. A manager briefing, talking points for the department heads, basically. Oh, and the great one is the help desk cheat sheet. So the one your support team will print and tape to their monitors. The cheat sheet covers the 8 most common issues: PIN lockout, lost key, new hire, offboarding, key not recognized, readers not working, site compatibility, or PIN change. The critical rule highlighted in red: never fully reset a credential to solve a PIN issue. When the credential type supports it, always prefer PIN unblock instead of a reset. A full reset destroys every credential on that device, as we were talking about earlier. So that's the framework. It's 5 tabs, maybe 12 weeks. Segment your users. Not everyone needs the same thing. Plan your hardware with a 15% buffer and realistic lead times. Pilot with 50 users before you touch the rest of the organization. Roll out in waves, not all at once, and build a steady state process before you declare victory. Reevaluate, reassess, and re-engineer. The Enterprise Credential Rollout Planner is linked in the description. Make a copy of the Google Sheet. It's all yours. Fill in your numbers, and if you have a project plan ready, you will then have a project plan ready to present to your CISO if that was a case. So now you've got your credential strategy from video 1. You've got your rollout plan from this video. And the last question is, what happens when you need to run FIDO2 and PKI side by side? How do you manage both from one console? That's your next video. We'll see you there. Thanks.